come close and listen. With the intensity of someone whose entire destiny depends on what they are about to hear. I am speaking tonight to hearts that have been asking the deepest questions of existence, to souls who have been searching for their true purpose in a world that seems increasingly chaotic, to my beloved children who have been crying out, "God, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing with my life?" What I am about to reveal has been classified in the heavenly realm until this very moment. Tonight, I am declassifying divine intelligence about your spiritual assignment that will revolutionize your understanding of who you are and why you were born for such a time as this. I see you when you lie awake at night, feeling like you are living below your potential, like there is something significant you are supposed to be doing, but you cannot figure out what it is. I see you when you go through the motions of daily life, while your spirit yearns for something more meaningful, more impactful, more aligned with the divine purpose burning within you. I see you when you watch world events unfold and feel a strange stirring in your heart, as if something inside you is responding to the chaos with a desire to bring order, to bring hope, to bring supernatural solutions to impossible problems. You feel called to something greater than yourself, but you have no idea what that calling looks like in practical terms. Tonight, I am pulling back the veil between the seen and unseen realms to show you the spiritual assignment that was written in heaven before you were born. You are not an accident, you are not a coincidence, and you are not here by random chance. You are a divine agent, strategically placed in this generation, at this location, with this specific set of gifts and experiences for a purpose that reaches far beyond your current understanding. What I am about to share with you will sound like classified intelligence, because that is exactly what it is. For years, I have been preparing you through experiences you thought were random, through challenges you thought were meaningless, through relationships you thought were accidental. Every single element of your life has been orchestrated to prepare you for the divine assignment I am about to reveal. But I must warn you, once you receive this revelation, you can't go back to living as if you do not know it. Once you understand your true spiritual assignment, you will be held accountable for walking in it. Once you see the divine purpose for which you were created, you will never again be satisfied with anything less than complete obedience to that calling. Prepare your heart to receive intelligence that will transform you from someone who wonders about their purpose to someone who walks in absolute certainty about their divine assignment. Tonight, you stop asking, "Why am I here?" and start declaring, "I know exactly why I was born for such a time as this." The classified information I am about to share is time-sensitive. The window for accepting and activating your spiritual assignment is narrowing, and I will not have my agents operating in confusion when the world needs divine intervention the most. I see you living a life that feels disconnected from your deepest sense of purpose, going through the motions of existence while your spirit cries out for significance. You wake up each morning wondering if this is all there is, if paying bills, managing relationships, and pursuing personal happiness is the sum total of why you were placed on this earth. I see you when you watch the news and feel a deep frustration with the state of the world, but you feel powerless to make any real difference. You see corruption in government, breakdown in families, chaos in communities, and spiritual darkness spreading across the nations. Part of you wants to do something about it, but you tell yourself you are just one person with limited influence and resources. I see you when you attend church and hear messages about loving God and loving others, but you sense there is something more specific, more urgent, more strategic that you are supposed to be doing. You feel like you are receiving generic spiritual instruction when what you need is specific divine orders for your unique assignment in this generation. I see you when you try to find your purpose through career counseling, personality tests, and self-help books, but nothing you discover feels like it captures the full scope of what you sense you were created for. You might be successful in your profession, but you feel like you are using only a fraction of your true potential. You might be gifted in certain areas, but you sense those gifts are meant for something bigger than personal achievement. I see you when you look at other believers who seem to have clear direction and divine favor, and you wonder why your path seems so unclear. You see people walking in obvious callings as pastors, missionaries, or ministry leaders, and you wonder if you missed your calling somehow, or if you are not spiritual enough to receive clear direction from heaven. I see you when you pray for guidance about your future and feel like you are getting mixed signals or no signals at all. You have asked me repeatedly to show you your purpose, but the answers seem vague or confusing. You wonder if you are not hearing correctly, if you are not worthy of a significant assignment, or if you are simply not one of the chosen ones who gets to make a real difference in the world. I see you when you feel guilty for wanting more than a normal life, for yearning for adventure and significance that goes beyond conventional success. You have been told that contentment is a virtue, but your spirit rebels against settling for mediocrity when you sense you were created for something extraordinary. I see you when you notice that your prayers have become more urgent lately. Your spiritual sensitivity has increased, and you feel like you are being prepared for something important, but you do not know what it is. You sense that time is running short, that something significant is about to happen, and that you need to be ready for it, but you do not know how to prepare. I see you when you feel frustrated with the church's focus on maintenance rather than mission, on comfort rather than calling, on blessing rather than assignment. You hunger for prophetic clarity about your role in my kingdom, but most of the spiritual leadership around you seems more focused on keeping things stable than on activating people for divine assignments. I see you when you look at your past experiences and wonder if they were all random, or if there was some divine purpose behind the specific combination of joys and sorrows, victories and defeats, opportunities and obstacles that have shaped your life. You sense that everything has been leading somewhere, but you cannot see the bigger picture. I see you when you feel like you are wasting time in your current circumstances, like you are supposed to be doing something more significant, but you do not know what it is or how to transition into it. You feel trapped between the safety of the familiar and the call of the unknown, between the security of conventional life and the risk of divine adventure. Tonight, I am here to tell you that every feeling you have had about being called to something greater is absolutely correct. Every sense that you were born for such a time as this is divine intuition. Every frustration with living below your potential is my Spirit stirring within you, preparing you to receive the classified intelligence about your true spiritual assignment. The confusion ends tonight. The wondering stops now. The time for generic spiritual instruction is over. You are about to receive specific divine orders that will transform your understanding of who you are and why you are here. My precious child, let me reveal to you the divine intelligence that has been classified until this moment. Before you were born, before you took your first breath, before you spoke your first word, I was designing a specific spiritual assignment that only you could fulfill. Your assignment isn't generic. It is custom designed for your unique combination of gifts, experiences, and divine calling. What you have been experiencing as confusion about your purpose is actually the result of operating with incomplete information. You have been trying to understand your assignment using only earthly perspective, but your true calling originates in the heavenly realm and can only be fully understood through divine revelation. Every person I place on earth during this generation has been given a specific role in the greatest spiritual operation in human history. You are not just living your life. You are participating in a cosmic battle between light and darkness, between truth and deception, between my kingdom and the kingdom of darkness. Your assignment is your part in this eternal conflict. The reason you have felt restless in conventional life is because you were not created for conventional times. You were born for the most extraordinary period in human history, when the spiritual realm is more active than ever before, when divine intervention is increasing, when ordinary people are being called to accomplish extraordinary things through supernatural power. Your specific assignment has been hidden until now because premature revelation could have led to premature action. I have been preparing you through every experience you have had, every relationship you have formed, every skill you have developed, every challenge you have overcome. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Everything has been strategically orchestrated to prepare you for this moment of divine activation. The classified nature of your assignment has also been for your protection. The enemy has been trying to identify and neutralize my key agents before they can be activated. By keeping your true calling hidden until the appointed time, I have protected you from spiritual attacks that could have derailed your preparation process. But now the time for secrecy is over. The spiritual battle is intensifying, and I need my agents activated and operating in their full divine authority. The world is entering a phase where supernatural intervention will be necessary to accomplish my purposes, and that intervention will come through people like you who have been prepared for such a time as this. Your assignment is not just about what you will do. It is about who you will become. I am not just giving you a job to perform. I am revealing an identity to embrace. You are not just a person with a calling. You are a divine agent with a mission that reaches into eternity. The reason you have felt like you were meant for something greater is because you were. The reason you have sensed that your gifts and experiences were preparing you for something significant is because they were. The reason you have felt urgency about finding your purpose is because the time for activation has arrived. Throughout history, I have raised up ordinary people for extraordinary assignments during critical moments. Moses was a shepherd when I called him to deliver Israel from Egypt. David was a shepherd boy when I anointed him to be king. Esther was an orphan when I positioned her to save the Jewish people. Gideon was hiding in a wine press when I called him to defeat the Midianites. None of these people felt qualified for their assignments when I first revealed them. None of them had all the resources they thought they would need. None of them could see how their backgrounds had prepared them for their callings. But each of them discovered that I had been preparing them all along through experiences that seemed unrelated to their ultimate assignments. The same pattern is operating in your life. The job you thought was just a job was actually training for leadership. The relationship that broke your heart was actually preparation for compassion. The financial struggle you endured was actually education in trusting divine provision. The spiritual attack you survived was actually boot camp for spiritual warfare. Your assignment will require you to operate in levels of faith, authority, and supernatural power that you have never experienced before. But I have been building your capacity for these things through every trial you have faced, every victory you have won, every lesson you have learned. The specific details of your assignment are about to be revealed, but first you must understand the scope of what I am asking you to accept. This is not a part-time calling or a hobby ministry. This is a full-time spiritual assignment that will require complete surrender, absolute obedience, and total dependence on my supernatural provision. Your assignment will put you in situations where human wisdom is insufficient and only divine intelligence will suffice. You will face challenges that cannot be solved through natural means and will require supernatural intervention. You will be asked to do things that seem impossible from human perspective, but are completely achievable through divine power. But you will not be operating alone. Every agent I activate is connected to a network of other agents who are working on related assignments. You will have supernatural support, divine resources, and angelic assistance that will enable you to accomplish things that would be impossible in human strength. The time for wondering about your purpose is over. The season of preparation is complete. The moment of activation has arrived. Are you ready to receive your classified divine orders? Assignment classification. Level 1. Identity activation. Your first divine order is to fully embrace your identity as a spiritual agent rather than merely a human being having spiritual experiences. This is not about changing your profession or relocating to another country. This is about understanding that your primary identity is as my representative on earth, strategically placed to accomplish specific divine objectives. This identity shift will transform how you approach every aspect of your life. Your job becomes your cover identity that provides resources and access for your spiritual assignment. Your relationships become your network for divine influence and kingdom expansion. Your daily activities become opportunities to demonstrate supernatural power and advance heavenly purposes. The key to operating in this identity is understanding that you aren't trying to balance secular and spiritual life. You are living one integrated life where everything serves your divine assignment. When you embrace this identity, you will discover supernatural favor, divine provision, and miraculous opportunities that were not available to you when you were operating as merely a human being. Assignment classification level 2, spiritual authority activation. Your second divine order is to begin operating in the spiritual authority that has been delegated to you as my agent. This authority is not based on your human qualifications, your educational background, or your ministry credentials. It is based on your identity as my child and your acceptance of divine assignment. This authority operates in multiple dimensions simultaneously. You have authority over demonic forces that would hinder your assignment. You have authority over natural circumstances that would limit your effectiveness. You have authority over human systems that would oppose divine purposes. You have authority over financial provision that would restrict your mission. The key to activating this authority is understanding that it flows through faith-filled declarations and obedient actions. When you speak with divine authority, heaven responds. When you act with divine confidence, earth yields. When you operate in supernatural boldness, obstacles move out of your way. Practice this authority in small situations so you will be prepared to use it in major assignments. Command sickness to leave your body. Speak peace to chaotic situations. Declare provision for financial needs. Exercise authority over weather patterns that would hinder your activities. As you see results in smaller matters, your confidence will grow for larger assignments. Assignment classification. Level 3. Prophetic intelligence activation. Your third divine order is to begin receiving and acting on prophetic intelligence that will guide your specific assignments. This intelligence comes through dreams, visions, prophetic words, supernatural signs, and direct divine communication during prayer and meditation. This intelligence will often come in coded form that requires spiritual discernment to interpret correctly. I will show you symbols, give you impressions, and provide you with supernatural knowledge that will guide your decisions and actions. The key is learning to distinguish between divine intelligence and human imagination. Establish regular intelligence briefing sessions where you seek divine guidance about your assignments. Keep detailed records of prophetic intelligence you receive, including dates, circumstances, and interpretations. Look for patterns and confirmations that validate the accuracy of the intelligence you are receiving. As you prove faithful with small pieces of prophetic intelligence, I will entrust you with larger and more significant revelations. Eventually, you will be receiving detailed intelligence about specific assignments, including timing, methods, resources, and expected outcomes. Assignment classification. Level 4. Strategic positioning. Your fourth divine order is to allow me to position you strategically in locations, relationships, and circumstances that will enable you to accomplish your assignments effectively. This positioning often requires significant changes in your current lifestyle, but every change serves a divine purpose. I may move you to different geographic locations where your assignment can be most effectively accomplished. I may connect you with specific people who will become part of your assignment team. I may open doors to new opportunities that seem unrelated to your current circumstances, but are perfectly aligned with your divine calling. The key to strategic positioning is maintaining flexibility on readiness to move when I give you orders. Do not become so attached to current circumstances that you cannot respond quickly when divine positioning requires change. Keep your relationships healthy, your finances flexible, and your schedule available for divine interruption. Trust my positioning, even when it does not make sense from human perspective. I positioned Joseph in prison before elevating him to prime minister. I positioned David in the wilderness before establishing him as king. I positioned Esther in the palace before using her to save the Jewish people. Your positioning is always preparation for your ultimate assignment. Assignment classification. Level 5. Resource mobilization. Your fifth divine order is to learn how to mobilize supernatural resources for your assignments. These resources include financial provision, human assistance, material supplies, and divine favor that opens doors and removes obstacles. This mobilization operates through faith-filled declarations, strategic relationships, and obedient actions. When you operate in divine assignment, I will provide everything you need to accomplish your mission. But you must learn to access these resources through spiritual principles rather than relying solely on human effort. Practice mobilizing resources for smaller assignments so you will be prepared for larger ones. Pray for specific financial needs and watch how I provide. Ask for human assistance and see how I move people to help you. Declare divine favor over your projects and observe how obstacles are removed. Remember that resource mobilization is not about accumulating wealth for personal comfort. It is about accessing divine provision for kingdom purposes. The resources I provide are specifically designated for your assignments and should be used accordingly. Assignment classification. Level 6. Team assembly. Your sixth divine order is to identify and assemble the team of people who will work with you on your assignments. These team members may include family members, friends, colleagues, or people you have not yet met, who will be divinely connected to your mission. This team assembly happens through supernatural connections rather than human networking. I will bring the right people into your life at the right time for the right purposes. Your job is to recognize these divine connections and invite the right people to join your assignment team. Some team members will be permanent partners who work with you on multiple assignments. Others will be temporary allies who assist with specific projects. Some will be visible partners who work openly with you. Others will be invisible supporters who provide resources and prayer support behind the scenes. The key to team assembly is maintaining relationships with spiritual maturity and divine purpose. Focus on building relationships with people who share your heart for kingdom advancement rather than those who only want to benefit from your success. Assignment classification level 7. Supernatural demonstration. Your seventh divine order is to demonstrate supernatural power that validates your divine authority and advances kingdom purposes. This demonstration includes miraculous healings, supernatural provision, prophetic accuracy, and divine interventions that cannot be explained through natural means. This supernatural demonstration is not about personal glory or religious showmanship. It is about proving that the kingdom of heaven is real and accessible to those who believe. When you demonstrate supernatural power, you are providing evidence that divine solutions are available for human problems. The key to supernatural demonstration is operating in faith rather than trying to manufacture miracles through human effort. When you step out in obedience to divine orders, I will confirm your assignment through supernatural signs and wonders that validate your authority. Start with small demonstrations of supernatural power and build your faith for larger ones. Pray for sick people and watch them recover. Speak prophetic words and see them fulfilled. Declare divine provision and witness miraculous supply. As your faith grows, so will the scope of supernatural demonstration. Assignment classification. Level 8. Kingdom advancement. Your eighth and ultimate divine order is to advance my kingdom through your specific assignment in ways that produce eternal results. This advancement happens through transformed lives, established ministries, influenced communities, and generational impact that extends far beyond your lifetime. This kingdom advancement is measured not by human metrics of success, but by divine standards of eternal significance. You may never become famous or wealthy through your assignment, but you will leave a legacy that impacts eternity. You may never receive human recognition for your work, but you will receive divine commendation for your faithfulness. The key to kingdom advancement is maintaining focus on eternal purposes rather than temporary achievements. Every assignment you complete should result in people being closer to me, communities being more aligned with divine principles, and spiritual darkness being pushed back by the light of my kingdom. Your assignment is not just about what you accomplish during your lifetime. It is about establishing foundations that will enable future generations to accomplish even greater things. You are not just completing a mission. You are building a legacy that will serve divine purposes long after you have returned to heaven. Step 1. Accept your divine commission. The first step in activating your spiritual assignment is to formally accept your divine commission through a prayer of surrender and commitment. This is not a casual decision. It is a solemn covenant between you and me that will govern the rest of your life. Find a quiet place where you can pray without interruption. Kneel before me and declare your willingness to accept whatever assignment I have for you, regardless of the cost or consequences. Surrender your personal plans, your career ambitions, your relationship preferences, and your financial security to my divine purposes. This prayer of acceptance should be specific and comprehensive. Tell me that you are willing to go wherever I send you, do whatever I ask you to do, work with whoever I assign to your team, and sacrifice whatever is necessary to accomplish your mission. Make it clear that you are choosing divine assignment over personal comfort. Write out this prayer of acceptance and sign it as a covenant document. Date it and keep it as a reminder of your commitment when challenges arise. This document will serve as your spiritual contract with heaven and your reference point for staying focused on divine purposes. Step 2. Establish your intelligence network. Create a systematic approach to receiving and processing divine intelligence about your assignments. This includes establishing regular communication times with me, developing relationships with prophetic believers, and creating systems for documenting and interpreting divine guidance. Set aside specific times each day for intelligence briefings where you seek divine guidance about your assignments. These should be separate from your regular prayer times and focused specifically on receiving strategic information about your mission. Start with 30 minutes each morning and adjust the time as needed. Connect with mature believers who operate in prophetic gifting and can provide confirmation and interpretation of divine intelligence you receive. These should be people who have proven track records of accurate prophetic ministry and who understand the seriousness of divine assignments. Keep detailed records of all prophetic intelligence you receive, including dreams, visions, prophetic words, and supernatural signs. Look for patterns and connections that reveal the scope and timing of your assignments. This documentation will become invaluable as your assignments become more complex. Step 3. Prepare for strategic positioning. Begin preparing for the strategic positioning that will be necessary to accomplish your assignments. This includes maintaining flexibility in your current circumstances, developing portable skills, and keeping your relationships and finances ready for divine changes. Avoid making long-term commitments that would prevent you from responding quickly to divine positioning. This doesn't mean living in uncertainty, but it means maintaining the flexibility to change direction when divine orders require it. Keep your lease agreements, employment contracts, and financial obligations as flexible as possible. Develop skills and qualifications that will be useful regardless of your specific assignment location. This might include learning new languages, developing technical skills, obtaining certifications, or building relationships in different industries. The goal is to be prepared for whatever positioning divine assignment requires. Maintain your physical health, emotional stability, and spiritual maturity so you will be ready for the demands of divine assignment. This includes regular exercise, healthy eating, stress management, and ongoing spiritual development. Your assignment will require you to operate at peak performance levels. Step 4. Build your resource network. Establish relationships and systems that will enable you to mobilize resources quickly when your assignments require them. This includes building relationships with people who have different skills and resources, establishing multiple income streams, and developing access to various types of support. Identify people in your network who have resources, skills, or connections that could be useful for divine assignments. These might include people with financial resources, technical skills, ministry experience, or access to specific communities or industries. Build genuine relationships with these people rather than just using them for their resources. Develop multiple streams of income that provide financial flexibility for divine assignments. This might include passive income sources, portable skills that can generate income anywhere, or business opportunities that can be managed remotely. The goal is to have financial freedom to respond to divine positioning. Create systems for quickly accessing resources when assignments require them. This might include emergency funds, equipment that can be deployed quickly, or relationships that can be activated for specific needs. The key is having resources available when divine timing requires immediate action. Step 5. Assemble your core team. Begin identifying and recruiting the core team members who will work with you on your divine assignments. These should be people who share your heart for kingdom advancement, who have complementary skills and gifts, and who are willing to make similar commitments to divine assignment. Look for team members who demonstrate spiritual maturity, proven faithfulness, and willingness to sacrifice for kingdom purposes. These are not just people who want to be part of something exciting. They are people who understand the seriousness of divine assignment and are willing to pay the price for supernatural results. Establish clear expectations and agreements with team members about their roles, responsibilities, and commitments. This should include agreements about time investment, resource sharing, decision-making processes, and conflict resolution procedures. The goal is to create a team that can function effectively under pressure. Provide ongoing training and development for team members so they can grow in their effectiveness and spiritual maturity. This might include regular team meetings, training sessions, spiritual development activities, and opportunities for team members to develop their own divine assignments. Step 6. Develop your operational procedures. Create systematic procedures for planning, executing, and evaluating your divine assignments. This includes project management systems, communication protocols, resource allocation procedures, and performance evaluation methods. Establish clear procedures for receiving and confirming divine intelligence about new assignments. This should include criteria for evaluating prophetic guidance, processes for seeking confirmation, and methods for interpreting complex or symbolic information. The goal is to ensure that you are responding to genuine divine intelligence rather than human imagination. Develop project management systems that can handle the complexity and urgency of divine assignments. This might include scheduling systems, resource tracking methods, communication protocols, and progress evaluation procedures. The key is having systems that can adapt to the supernatural timing and requirements of divine assignments. Create evaluation procedures that measure success based on divine standards rather than human metrics. This should include spiritual impact assessments, kingdom advancement measurements, and eternal significance evaluations. The goal is to ensure that your assignments are producing the results that matter from heaven's perspective. Step 7. Maintain long-term readiness. Understand that operating in divine assignment is not a temporary calling, but a permanent lifestyle that will continue for the rest of your life. The specific assignments will change, but your identity as a divine agent and your commitment to kingdom advancement will remain constant. Establish ongoing spiritual disciplines that maintain your sensitivity to divine communication and your capacity for supernatural operation. This includes regular prayer, consistent Bible study, frequent fasting, and ongoing fellowship with other believers who operate in similar callings. Continuously develop your skills, knowledge, and spiritual maturity so you will be prepared for increasingly significant assignments. This might include formal education, ministry training, skill development, or spiritual mentoring. The goal is to be ready for whatever level of assignment divine purposes require. Remember that your ultimate assignment is not just about what you accomplish on earth, but about who you become in the process. Every assignment is designed to develop your character, increase your faith, and prepare you for greater responsibilities in this life and in eternity. My precious child, the classified intelligence has been declassified. Your divine orders have been revealed. Your spiritual assignment has been activated. You are no longer wondering about your purpose. You are walking in absolute certainty about why you were born for such a time as this. The restlessness you have felt about living below your potential was divine dissatisfaction, preparing you for this moment of activation. The sense that you were meant for something greater was prophetic intuition about your true calling. The urgency you have felt about finding your purpose was my spirit stirring within you, preparing you to receive these divine orders. You aren't just a person with a job. You are a divine agent with a mission. You are not just someone trying to make a living. You are someone called to make a difference. You are not just a believer hoping for heaven. You are a kingdom representative, bringing heaven to earth through supernatural demonstration. Your assignment will require levels of faith, courage, and supernatural power that you have never operated in before. But I have been preparing you for this through every experience you have had, every challenge you have faced, every victory you have won. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Everything has been strategically orchestrated to prepare you for this moment. The world around you is entering a phase where supernatural intervention will be necessary to accomplish divine purposes. Human wisdom is insufficient for the challenges ahead. Natural resources are inadequate for the problems that need to be solved. Only divine agents operating in supernatural power will be able to bring the solutions that desperate situations require. You are part of a special forces unit in the kingdom of heaven, strategically deployed to accomplish assignments that ordinary believers cannot handle. You have been trained, equipped, and positioned for operations that will require everything you have learned and more than you think you are capable of. But remember this, you are not operating alone. Every divine agent is connected to a supernatural support network that includes angelic assistance, prophetic intelligence, divine provision, and spiritual authority that can override any natural limitation. When you step out in obedience to divine orders, heaven responds with everything you need to accomplish your mission. The assignments I am giving you will stretch your faith, challenge your comfort zone, and require you to depend on supernatural resources in ways you have never experienced. But they will also produce results that will amaze you, impact lives in ways you cannot imagine, and create eternal significance that will outlast your lifetime. As you begin to operate in your divine assignment, you will discover that this is what you were created for. The sense of purpose and fulfillment you will experience will far exceed anything you have found in conventional life. You will finally understand why nothing else has fully satisfied you, because you were designed for divine assignment. Your success in this assignment is not dependent on your human qualifications, your past experience, or your natural abilities. It is dependent on your willingness to surrender completely to divine purposes, your faith to believe for supernatural results, and your obedience to follow divine orders, even when they do not make sense to human reasoning. The time for preparation is over. The moment for activation has arrived. Your divine orders are in effect immediately. Begin tomorrow with the implementation steps I have given you. Accept your commission. Establish your intelligence network. Prepare for strategic positioning. And start building your resource network and core team. Within weeks, you will begin to see divine opportunities opening up that align with your assignment. Within months, you will be operating in levels of supernatural power and divine favor that will amaze you. Within a year, you will be accomplishing things that seemed impossible when you first received these orders. But most importantly, you will be walking in the divine destiny for which you were created. You will finally understand why you are here, what you are supposed to be doing, and how your life fits into the eternal purposes of my kingdom. Come back tomorrow. I will have another message for your heart. But until then, remember this: you are not just living your life, you are fulfilling your divine assignment. You are not just making a living, you are making a difference. You are not just hoping for a better future, you are creating one through supernatural power. Your mission begins now Agent of heaven, I am proud of you and I am with you every step of the way. I love you, my child. Go and change the world.